What's your love? What's behind your love for gangster dramas? Like, is Godfather kind of obsession for you?
There's no doubt about that. But I look at it like more a character study of extreme people. That is how I define that. Not so much as gangsters. And also the loose body language of Mohanlal. He doesn't feel like a conventional police officer, very strict and this and that. It's just very loose. He's just hanging. And he seems to be more interested in the paperweight than the actual thing, what's happening. I openly stated that this is my tribute to Godfather. I actually said that in the beginning of Sarkar. Yeah. Everybody can survive as long as they're practical and real. You're in touch with grounded reality. And I never ever intended to make big films or blockbusters or 100 crore, 200 crore. I think my first movie I was super impressed was with the film called Mechanus Gold. He's got a very non-typical body type and language. So it's very unpredictable because of that. I think that is his biggest advantage apart from his performing capacity.
The Q Showtime Ram Gopal Varma. Welcome. Yeah. Sir, I will start with a sequence from your movie. The first scene from Sarkar movie. Yeah. A father of a rape victim is approaching Sarkar, and it's a lengthy scene.
Yeah.
Like, we are following this character, and once he reaches there, Sarkar is being introduced. Similar sequence can be seen in Bhishma Parvam, Malayalam movie, Amal's movie. Mammootty is playing the lead character there. Almost similar sequence.
Yeah.
Like a mother and daughter coming for help. Coming for asking help from this guy. Like, he's kind of a gangster out there in that place. So, what's your take on your movies being referenced to other movies?
I honestly feel everything in life, whichever field, including cinema, you always reference something else. See, for example, if you think this film had shades of my scene in Sarkar, my scene obviously had scenes from Godfather. Yeah, So I think everyone will be influenced, and that is what the whole progress of cinema is about. But they will bring their own into that story, into that character. There will be a flavor which belongs to that particular director. I haven't seen this scene, what you're talking about. But I think you will see a difference in Sarkar scene and Godfather scene. Yeah, though I openly stated that this is my tribute to Godfather. I actually said that in the beginning of Sarkar. Yeah.
What's your love? What's behind your love for gangster dramas? Like, is Godfather kind of obsession for you?
There's no doubt about that. But I look at it like more a character study of extreme people. That is how I define that. Not so much as gangsters. See, for example, when I made Company, I thought the same characters actually existed in a corporate structure.
Chandu Malik.
Yeah. If they're in a company, there's a rival company, and they're fighting in business, more or less the dynamics will be the same. Only difference will be, in a corporate company, you'll be fired from a job. In a gangster company, you'll be fired in real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as you have mentioned Company, there's a beautiful sequence in Company where Chandu and Malik meet Srinivasan for the first time. It's kind of like introducing themselves to others. And in that sequence, Mohanlal's character Srinivasan have something in his hand. He's continuously focused on that while delivering dialogues. He gives, intercuts are being placed when he looks at them, when he gives some, throughout his rendering, there is this thing in his hand playing continuously. So I want to ask about the brief you gave to Mohanlal.
Yeah, so basically I always seen like a policeman basically wants to unsettle the person is questioning. So this is not like a thing, this is like a very casual questioning he wants to make it sound, but just constantly cutting to that paperweight in his hand, you almost feel a kind of a subtextual tension, suddenly you might throw it at someone, And my most favorite thing in that particular scene, what you mentioned, I put Ajay Devgan just in front of him, and there is Vivek to the side somewhere in the back, and then there is Pandit somewhere. So it is oddity of the placement, because obviously Malik is the main person he has to talk to. They are just his associates. So they don't need to be given. Imagine the same scene if all three were sitting in front in three chairs. I don't think the scene will have the same impact. Yeah. And also the loose body language of Mohanlal. He doesn't feel like a conventional police officer, very strict and this and that. It's just very loose, he's just hanging, and he seems to be more interested in the paperweight than the actual thing, what's happening. But that is his way of unsettling the. And Ajay being very stiff, straight, and because he's wearing those goggles, and you won't even know what he's thinking in his mind. Yeah.
I have also wondered about your writing, those particularly of those characters in your movies.
Yeah.
Like they have, they are deep rooted to their territory, their space where they belong. Even though we are rewatching Company or Satya, or whichever movie of yours, we are getting like new aspects of characters from each watch. So I want to ask about the writing side of yours, like how much you invest on writing, how long, like how big process is that writing for a movie?
See, I normally tend to write very fast because more or less when I decided to make a film, the film will already be in my head to whatever extent, you know. So the writing process happens normally very fast. Yeah.
So
I don't think I took more than a week to 2 weeks for any film of mine till today, right from a debut film.
Okay.
Yeah.
From Shiva.
Yeah.
As you were doing movies in Telugu and Hindi simultaneously. There were path-breaking movies, like they were path-breaking movies of the Indian cinema industry. As now, like new discussions or conversations are being focused on what happened to Bollywood. Why is Bollywood not in its previous form? There are more movies which are remakes of other industries. So what's your take on current scenario in Bollywood?
See, my take on that is, see, if you look at the 70s and 80s and even most 90s also, generally most of the time South used to copy Bollywood. All the Amitabh Bachchan films, like Rajni sir for example, or N.T. Ramarao, Chiranjeevi, all of them were doing remakes of Amitabh Bachchan films through which they got their stardom, you know. Then when at a point of time in the 90s, when Amitabh Bachchan took a very long hiatus, you know, at that time the music companies coincidentally came at that time, and they started making films which are musical, love stories, and they were making it vehicles to sell their music. That was the main target of the music companies. And that is where Hum Aapke Kaun and Maine Pyar Kiya, that phase started, and suddenly they went into that zone for a long time, whereas South has still continued to make the same kind of hero mass masala elevation, whatever they call, you know. So, and it went on in the same trajectory. But so by the time, and then the new wave of directors were very educated, and they came from the US and all that, and all these Bandra and South Bombay boys, you know, their exposure is more towards Hollywood and the that kind of cinema, and they were looking down upon the so-called South cinema. Yeah, so those also worked to whatever extent, but they didn't create heroes. They're working as films. Like the stars were not as big as here. I mean, I'm talking about South, you know, especially Tamil and Telugu, you know.
Yeah, kind of.
So first time when it happened was was taken by surprise with Ghajini, but they still thought it's a one-off. That kind of cinema will not work again, you know. Then Bahubali was like a too special a film, so that can't be taken as a benchmark, as a model for how films should be made, because that will come once in a lifetime, you know. But what hit them was KGF 2 first, you know. Because then quickly pursued by Pushpa to X to Y to Z, and now they don't have the fundamental conviction of making such a film. It's not about ability. I don't think it's about capacity. It's about not believing in that kind of cinema, because for too long they're exposed to that. So for them to turn about and come, and even if they attempt it, they're failing because it's not coming naturally from them. So that becomes an imitation which will never have the full conviction. Yeah.
The post-release scenario of KGF 2 have already like spread out a with style of pan-Indian movies, where those movies are big-ticket films, and where hero is like he's the over the top of everything.
Correct.
Yeah, superhuman power, but not a superhero.
And see, the over the top works in the context because eventually, first of all, I think it's a mistaken notion that cinema has to be real. Who said that? See, if you go to a bookshop, there'll be all kinds of books.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as books should be like this, no? Same thing to do with films, you know. Something you might just enjoy it like a popcorn, something for its unbelievability, something which looks like a comic book, something very realistic, I mean, all kinds of films will have different kinds of audience. So I think, but whatever you pick up to push it to the extreme is when a film really catches the audience's attention. Yeah.
So now we are here because of the film Sari. You are promoting the movie here. So why or what is so special in Sari?
Yeah. See, Sari, two things. See, I was always interested in the subject of obsession. You know, like the obsession is what there is love, and then when crosses a certain degree, where almost the guy in question loses his control over his feelings, it becomes obsession. And obsession in sometimes can become dangerous, which is many times we hear incidents and like that happening. You know, so that is something like that which happened in Dar in Shah Rukh Khan around 40 years back. I also produced a film called Pyar Tune Kya Kiya sometime. But I think it takes a whole new meaning in the times of social media. See, the Instagram is something where you very quickly form relationships. You know, like a police officer once told me that if you're walking on the road and there are a lot of people walking and you just do your work, you suddenly don't hi and you don't make a friend with them immediately and go to a coffee shop and start sharing personal details. Nobody does that. But in Insta, you can do that because you don't see the face, you don't see the demeanor. So the relationships happen faster and stronger when you don't meet the person.
And there are no inhibitions about.
Correct. Yeah. So I think that is what I wanted to explore in Sari.
Also, I wanna ask that being Ram Gopal Varma, like creating iconic movies, as we have mentioned earlier, being reference to others, the survival part of this journey. It's a long journey, and being a brand or so and so, iconic director in the industry. How easy is your survival in the industry?
See, first of all, I never thought of it. Anyway, everybody can survive as long as they're practical and real. You know, you're in touch with grounded reality. And I never ever intended to make big films or blockbusters or 100 crore, 200 crore. I always am interested in very rooted stories which are relatable and something which excites me and it will be a character study for me in terms of that. So probably let's say Satya is a very low budget film, even my debut film. But it's not because I wanted to cut the budget. I wanted to shoot it realistic, and which is only then when it becomes relatable. So I'm generally into that kind of cinema. Yeah. So that kind of cinema you always can survive, because eventually survival is based on what cost you can make it and whether it can recover that much. And the name you will get is on a sensibility of how many people liked which kind of film. Yeah. So survival is never a problem for me. Yeah.
Also, your collaboration with Maniratnam is like it has some interesting facts. Like you were in the writing part of Tirada. You're also co-producer of Dil Se. So Maniratnam.
See, the truth of that is, me and Mani are very independently strong views. I don't think he likes my kind of cinema, or maybe I also don't connect to many of us. But we're very close as friends. So when we went on a combination to discuss Gayam and Tirada, he didn't listen to one idea of mine and I didn't listen to one idea of his.
Okay.
We only have our combined names out of friendship. Yeah. Even Dil Se, for that matter, again me, Shekhar Kapoor and Maniratnam got together. But we were not, me and Shekhar were neither involved creatively nor financially. You know, it was just for a companion sake. Yeah.
While we were talking right now, like a visual pop out to my mind, like which I forgot before the interview. It's a particular sequence from Rangila, where Amegan is coming to Urmila's home in yellow shirt and yellow van. Like that's a personal moment for me. Like, so close to heart. That moment, Urmila's reaction, Ami's performance. What was your idea behind constructing that sequence?
See, that actually something which really happened in my, like there was a friend of mine, he was like a street tough, he's like a rowdy kind of a guy. So he used to be very rough and tough in the way he used to wear some kind of a chappal, Kolhapuri chappal, and at a point of time he fell in love with a girl, and then he came with his smart shoes and some stupid looking thing. So he wanted to impress her with his looks. But because he's not him, that's not him. So that is not his natural extension of his personality. He's trying to make himself up. And he looked so funny, and we all started laughing, and he was so hurt. So that was inspiration for me to put that scene in Rangila.
I think you were one of the prominent person who visited the location of Empuran, Prithviraj Mohanlal movie. That was a surprising news for us. That selfies and all. So,
I just went to meet Prithviraj for something, and he was shooting in Palakkad at that time. So I thought, sir, I'm shooting here. So I thought, let's go and watch. And I didn't meet Mohanlal sir also for a long time. And it was a very pleasant meeting.
How excited are you for Imran? Like, it's a big ticket film from Mollywood, right?
Of course, yeah.
What's your excitement on that movie?
I might say, because I've seen Lucifer, and Prithviraj is a very passionate, being an actor after reaching that and to make such a big film, you know. And I'm really fond of Prithviraj. So I think I'm really looking forward to that film,
Audience are being evolved in the post-COVID scenario. They are getting big doors open to different movies from different languages. They are the way they enjoy movies being like more into critically, technically. They are trying to scrutinize a movie. At that time, is there a possibility for a better or bigger space for filmmakers to create more movies with different genres?
See, I think the culture of this, one is predominantly there's a single screen, there's a multiplex, and there is a OTT, and there are so many dimensions, and there are so many kind of different paths. What works here might not work in the other two, or vice versa. So, and then because of that, we should not forget we have a very large population. Even the biggest hit also might not even be watched by 1/4 of the country's audience. So, do the same people watch the different kind of films, or are they all different? We'll never know for sure. So, that is what which gives you tremendous freedom to experiment in any kind of a, genre.
One thing I was curious about, you were a civil engineer, and your career shift to a filmmaker. Was filmmaking a passion for you from your early childhood?
Yeah, it was. And see, civil engineering I did only because my parents told me to do. I was a very bad student. In fact, I failed twice. And at the end of my entire degree, I don't think I know even the concrete mixture ratio. So that was how poor I was, you know. But in spite of that, if I got a degree, that talks about the education system, not about me. So, but always I was passionate about cinema, right from my childhood,
Is there a movie that like made you wonder like, oh, it's a movie?
I think my first movie I was super impressed was with the film called Mechanus Gold. That was my first film where I was really with my mouth open watching that,
I always wonder, cinema being an audio-visual medium, there is equal importance for audio too, like sound.
Yes.
Even in your movies, I've seen like benchmark sound design, especially in Company, Satya, such movies, like where, as you have mentioned, you try for a realistic approach where it can be relatable. So there is a unique space for sound also. How important is sound design for a movie?
I mean, I think it depends a lot on the genre again. You know, see, for example, a movie like Shiva or a Booth, I think they're very dependent on sound. Maybe Rangila is not, you know. I think typically action films or psychological thrillers and suspense and horror, they depend a lot. A movie like a Sarkar or a Rangila, I don't think the emphasis on sound needs to be so much. There the music will work more.
Even you are creating sequels of your movies, right? Both have a sequel. Sarkar is a trilogy. So once you have completed an entire journey with the movie, being its first part, and you are getting back to the same world, same characters, their next level growth, their inner dynamics, whatever, everything related, stuck on with that specific world. So is there any new kick or new high working again on something you have already constructed?
Yeah, definitely. I think you see, eventually film is nothing but a kind of a reflection of yourself, the way your mind is working, what you think, and we keep on evolving We keep on changing because directly depending on the experiences, and the experiences could be of the other films you see, or it could be some new technology which has come, or it could be some new idea or a new kind of a story, and it will be a challenge for you to break it up into scenes and how to make a film using the present day technology. So I think that is a constant challenge happening, and the challenge is what which creates the excitement. Yeah.
For past 3 years or 4 years, the one term that's being repeatedly discussed is pan India.
Yeah.
From every industry, they are trying to create pan India movies. As we have discussed earlier, Pushpa, KGF, Bahubali was in the initial stage. Every industry want to create a pan India movie which can cater more audience. More investors can come to their industry. They can create more money from the movies. So in one side, it's a good phenomenon in the Indian industry. Like business is growing, but on the other side, there are being replication of same formula movies in the industry. So what's your take on that?
See, the bottom line, I think it's wrong to generalize the aspect. Eventually, every project belongs to a certain person, maybe 2-3 people, the star, the producer or director or someone. And it is up to their individual choice how they want to pitch the film. See, Pan India is nothing but you decide to release it in all markets. That is a basic point. Where if the particular subject matter connects to many, and when you have the revenue generation thing to as vast as that, you get lucky. But on the other hand, you can get confused between to make it pan-Indian, then you start catering to whether this will be liked in Punjab, this will be liked in Telugu, that will be liked in Tamil. So it is very easy to fall into that trap and make a mishmash of it. Whereas something like a Kantara, which is so stuck to its roots in Karnataka, but yet it worked pan-India.
Yes.
That's the right way to do it. You know, and for example, you make Godfather and it ran across the world. They didn't think of India, or they didn't think of China, or they didn't think of any other film. But 90% of the time, the people who think of pan-India, they make that mistake of trying to cater to all the regions where they're releasing. It could be in casting, to take one actor from there, one girl from here, one character actor from there. That is where I think the danger of pan India is.
Okay. So as we have discussed about pan India, I think for a recent time period, there were propaganda movies being made in India, with specific notions. Like they have some goals about creating those movies and all. Sometimes some people like that movies. They are being influenced by those movies. Being an art form, being an influential medium, is that like it's not so good, right? From
I mean, I don't think anything is good or bad. I mean, eventually, see, if it is you are trying to tell something, you could be biased about someone or something, and you have a freedom to do that. Whether people will see that or not is a risk the person who is making it taking. So why should it be anybody's problem?
Okay, it's our call to.
Yeah, correct.
Like
if you say news, I mean, news channels will be biased. People talking will be biased, and why shouldn't films be biased?
Every medium is being at some point. What's your plan on your future, like future movies, future career?
Yeah, I'm just making it. We have to announce the details of it. Yeah.
There were such rumors like you are associating with Prithvi Raj.
No, I met him for something, so it is still to be done.
I just want to know your observation on a particular actor, who's Fahad Faasil. Like he's being repeatedly celebrated in every state, every industries, with his iconic performances, unique characterization and all. So how do you observe Fahad Faasil as an actor?
See, I think one great advantage he has is he's got a very non-typical body type and language. So it's very unpredictable because of that. You know, I think that is his biggest advantage apart from his performing capacity. The same performance, if he comes in a 6-footer, very handsome looking, I don't think it'll work the same. You know, that's what I'm saying. So I think a combination of uniqueness and his talent together is which is making it work. You know, if you take a movie like Pushpa 2, some people say he's looking so small for that role, but that is the reason it worked. Because it was so unexpected for Hindi to see an actor like that, to see I mean, in a role, something like that. So I think it's got a lot of that. Unpredictability is the best weapon of an actor, I think. And where he uses it excellently in his body language, in the way he will underplay himself, he will overplay, he might does something strange and wacko, which is which attracts people. Yeah.
As you are, like earlier you told that you are obsessed with Godfather. There's a thing that Mario Puzo, after writing Godfather, he want to study how to write a screenplay for a movie, and he bought a book, and there was this thing written on that book: go watch Godfather.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you about what was your first day of writing your first script?
Yeah.
How to set the structures, set the scene.
You mean my first film or Sarkar?
Film.
First film.
Film.
See, first film is pretty much, I was like, I used to write in shots, the script.
Okay.
I almost know the whole film in shots in terms of camera movements and all
Even
that.
edit.
Edit I had in my mind, yeah.
So it was easy
Yeah.
for you to write. So as you have told, you take 1 to 2 weeks for completing a script. Which one would be that one particular script that you
I mean, I can't say that
more?
because script also doesn't happen in progression, in terms of you're continuously thinking about. Sometimes an idea might come, I might forget it for a week or a year sometimes. Again, it comes back. So combined time of me constantly focused thinking doesn't take more than 1 or 2 weeks. Yeah.
Is there a movie in your filmography which you regret or which you don't want to go back to?
Not really. See, because film is a series of decisions you take over a long period of time. And each of those decisions are always influenced by various factors. So because of that, I can't think of a film in totality, because each decision I might regret, but not the overall film.
You are making movies for a long time. You have a long journey,
Yeah.
which is still going. I want to ask about your experience from cinema halls, watching movie in a crowd, like especially your movies.
Yeah.
How is it?
See, I never watch my movies in theaters. Once I finish the final mixing, I don't ever go back
Rewatch
to
it,
that.
yeah.
No.
Okay. So, how you judge audience while creating a movie?
See, to start with, I don't think of audience as a generalized crowd, because everybody will have a different taste. Possibly after the release, I might hear opinions of different people of what they like, what they didn't like, and things like that. So I think sitting in the theater, I don't think you'll get a fair idea of it. You know? Yeah.
Okay. Most probably you have been giving interviews from a long time period, like from print to online media. It's also a parallel journey which you are part of. So nowadays interviews are being like an interview culture in different industries. Like everyone have access to interviews from YouTube, Instagram, Reels, everything. So what's your view on interview culture being like interviews are being used to promote movies?
I mean, I think we have a technology today where we can be so clear to everyone about our intentions and everything. So for anyone who's interested, there's a wealth of information out there for them to infer whatever they can from that, you know. But having said that, we also, the flip side to that, or where you can be easily misrepresented, misquoted, or because the thumbnails can do a lot of damage, you know, because people don't have the patience to get to the video to see the whole thing. So a misleading thumbnail can sometimes do. But I think we are living in that kind of times. So we should take it as a necessary evil rather than trying to fight it. Yeah.
There's this one particular sequence in a Malayalam movie called Best Actor. It's a Mammutti's movie. In that movie, Mohan, the character played by Mammootty, he's a struggling actor. He's a school teacher. He want to be an actor. So he once visit one of his native who is working in cinema in his flat. So there are a few people over there. One is a scriptwriter. One is the maker of the movie. One is a cinematographer. So he's so cool guy. Like he's gonna ask them about a chance to act in a movie. So they show him this visual from company movie, and the one guy asked Mammootty that, do you know who is this? So he don't know. This is Vivek Oberoi. So he was that chocolate boy when he approached Gopal Varma for a chance. And then Gopal Varma told him that your outlook is not cool for the character which you want to portray in the movie company. and then Vivek like go back to streets, get associated with like local goons or whatever,
Yeah.
and he come back to Gopal Varma's office,
Yeah.
and he like shocks him. Is that a true story?
Yeah. Partly it's true, but Vivek exaggerated it, I think. You know? It is true that he went and he worked on himself, and he wore certain clothes and certain makeup and hair and all that, and he came, because I was in two minds whether the way he looks will be suitable for a gangster in a gully, you know. But after that, him spending time with gangsters and all that, I think that's an exaggeration.
Okay.
Yeah.
In recent time, there was a controversial statement from your side about Rajinikanth. Like,
I mean, you see, that again is a problem. See, when they take something out of context, see, I was talking about how technology influences stardom. You know? Probably the most attractive visual for me about Rajini sir is to see him in slow motion.
Like in his superstardom.
Yeah. See, and the slow motion Rajinikanth walk, I don't think a single actor can carry that kind of a style. You know. So I was saying that what if the slow motion camera was not invented? I think Rajini sir might not have become such a big star. Same thing I said about Charlie Chaplin, because all his films came in 18 frames. And if Charlie Chaplin became an actor after the 24 frame camera came, I doubt he would become a star, I said. So it was just mentioned as an example. That is not to take away anything from Rajinikanth. Yeah.
But it was, I think it was delivered into social media as he's not a good
Yeah, but that
actor.
is social media. No. See, I would rather watch Rajinikanth walking in slow motion than the greatest performer acting a role. So that is how I take it.
Yeah. While you are telling about the slow motion, also there is Dalapadi, such movies where Rajinikanth as a performer have signed up, right? So I want to ask about your Malayalam cinema experience. Like, do you watch Malayalam movies from your early time period?
I mean, I watched Malayalam films, but not as much, because I don't know the language and I hate reading the subtitles. You know, because subtitles always distract me in the context of that. But I watched, of course, you know. My actor is, I think, the only Mohanlal sir, when I did Company. You know. So when I met Mohanlal sir, I was, because his reputation was so big as an actor, all the awards he got. When I told him Company, I thought he's going to ask me a lot of questions on his role and story and blah, blah, blah. And after he finished the whole narration, the only question he asked me is, how many days you want, sir? That's it.
Yeah. Why did you cast Mohanlal? Is there a movie
See, I just wondered, because at that time, there was a Tamilian commissioner of police, joint commissioner in Bombay, you know. I used to meet him a lot. He used to have this accent of Tamil accent. So I wanted someone who kind of, the idea of casting a South Indian actor in that role came because of him. His name is Shivanandan.
And why Mohanlal?
Because I think Mohanlal is a very realistic actor, and he kind of resembled, not that was necessary at that time, but I thought I wanted an actor of high credibility in that role.
Even his rendition of Hindi has Tamil influence.
Correct. Yeah.
So for the conclusion part, I want to ask about which would be that one movie you have watched in the recent times that made you like awestruck or something like that?
I would say The Substance.
Substance.
Okay. Substance is something I've really completely got bowled over that film. Yeah. And Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you for spending that time with us. Thank you.